Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church in Columbia, South Carolina, where we're part of the ELCA. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. I recently ran across an old sermon in my files from probably almost 35 years ago. It was written and given by a friend of mine, and after hearing it, I asked for a copy, and I have kept it ever since. The sermon was entitled Gardener, and here's a small summary. It began as Mary walked by herself, lost in confusion and despair. She was in the garden where Jesus' empty tomb was, and she didn't know what to make of the empty tomb and that his body was missing. Then, through her tears, she saw someone she thought must be the gardener, and she asked if he had moved the body. Then the sermon speaks of the first time we had met this gardener in the Garden of Eden. Suddenly, we discover that the one who created and tended is the same one who saves and tends to our needs even now. There's a lot more in that sermon, but I was fascinated by the connection between the gardener of Genesis and the gardener of resurrection. All week long, we have been exploring images of spring and how they point to Easter. And even though we talked about gardens and growth early in the week, I want to return to that theme now from a different angle. Throughout the winter, everything looked bleak and dead. But spring is God's way of saying that God is not finished. Revelation 21 is the Bible's great springtime chapter. After pages and pages of struggle, sorrow, and spiritual winter, Revelation concludes with a vision of the world remade. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, John writes. It wasn't a different creation, but this creation, renewed, restored, and healed. And then comes the voice from the throne, the voice that has spoken galaxies into being and called dead men from their graves. Behold, I am making all things new. It wasn't some things, or just spiritual things, or even just the things that matter most. God is making all things new. This is the promise at the heart of Easter. The resurrection of Jesus is not just a personal victory. It is the first blossom of a renewed creation. It is the opening act of God's great restoration project. It is the guarantee that the winters of our lives will not last forever. God is not throwing away any of creation. God is redeeming it. God is making it new. When Jesus rose, he wasn't a ghost or a spirit, but rose bodily. His earthly body was made new, and just so God makes us new too. In fact, the future God has in mind involves everything being renewed. Our life has its troubles and griefs, but Revelation 21 goes on to describe what this new redeemed creation will be like. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. Death will be no more. Mourning and crying and pain will be no more, for the first things have passed away. All those things in life we struggle with now will be made new for our life with God. And that's the best part of our new life with God. God is with us. See, the home of God is among mortals. He will dwell with them. They will be his peoples. And God himself will be with them and be their God. Notice that it doesn't describe us dwelling with God in heaven. It speaks of God dwelling here with us, among us, right in the midst of God's new creation. Maybe you know the hymn, Morning Has Broken. Many of us may have heard it first on the radio since it became a popular song, sometime I believe in the 1970s. Now we have it in our hymnal, and the words speak of God, our garden, and how God makes it new. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the word. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dewfall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where God's feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light Eden saw play. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. God does make our day new. From the Garden of Genesis to the Garden of Resurrection to the Garden of Renewal, God grows grace. God grows love. God grows all things fresh and new. Thanks for sharing these moments with me. And remember to let this day belong to God.